Hey, this is Pastor Chris, and our instructor, Ron, is joining me for the course, which is specifically Vulnerabilities of an Inclusive Environment. And we're going to hit 5 things in this course, and these 5 things are as follows. Number 1, balancing security with openness towards people, but also being vigilant. Number 2, we have to manage high risk situations and high risk personnel within a church. Number 3, we have to manage diverse social and political issues within a church, because the thing that unites us is the gospel. So there's so many different kinds of people in a church. Number 4, we have vulnerable populations. We have a lot of children and we have a lot of older folks who are very vulnerable. We have drug addicts. We have all kinds of people who are more vulnerable than others. So how do we do that and keep the environment secure? And finally, number 5, and we talk about this in some of the other courses, is that we need to protect ourselves against like hate crimes or just situations where the social climate is really against evangelicals. That's not all the time, but it does happen almost in cycles. And so we'll talk about those 5 things in this course. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is balancing openness with vigilance. So as a pastor, like I need my people protected, but also the church is open like to everyone. And so like I'm the pastor and I got saved in the red light district in Nuremberg, Germany. I did all kinds of drugs. Like I should be on lists, and there's people, but I'm 10 years down the road. But there's people coming in and they're in those lifestyles now. And, they're not the safest people. So a church is not necessarily a safe place. So, like, how do you maintain openness towards people, but also train and keep the security team vigilant? How do you do that?
Well, I have to look at it like this. God is always willing and open to get his followers, to bring you back to the light, I will say. Wherever you are in your journey, you're contemplating it, you have that moment, or you're just a devout follower already and you're just going, you're in it, you're already in there. With the security team, it allows you a little bit more flexibility because you have to, again, protect the most valuable, and I'm going to say the children are the most valuable, and then everyone's valuable. So I'll just say that. But
the kids are.
The kids are the most valuable thing. They are the future. So that having access to them, some restriction, that's super important, and everyone on the team needs to know that. That is one of the crucial points. Also, our elderly. Our elderly can have mobility issues or all this, and they could easily be frightened with that. And just the higher level of medical need that they might need, and understanding that for, like, say, the medical role, having them positioned in the right spot, but not afraid to do their job.
Okay.
So I might not be saying that perfect, but that's basically where I would want them to understand those roles. But being open is the most important thing. You're not there to close the doors and lock everyone out. You're there to bring everybody in, from all walks. So depending on where you are for your journey, like this is the right place, really.
Yeah.
So as part of the security team, you got to be open with that. You have to acknowledge, hey, this might look suspicious, or this might heighten your awareness, and you might have to position yourself in a different spot and let other people know. But those people should be welcomed in, really.
That's why as we've developed the training and gone through it, the thing I've really enjoyed about it, actually having a Marine recon focus, is like reconnaissance is like you're observing a lot. And then you guys have talked about your baseline. And so you could know what to look for. And then individuals could come in, or the pastor could say, hey, security team, I'm working with a few guys. Keep your eye on them. I love them. I want them to come in. But, from a distance, keep your eyes on them. And that's what you guys do. And so I really have enjoyed, as we've developed the training, that piece of it for a security team. And I think that someone who hasn't done that for a living, as soon as I say, like, for example, right now, I have a man at the church and he got saved coming out of prison for 25 years, and he was a child molester. And so I've told my security team, keep away from kids, Don't let them go back down these hallways, things like that. And so they keep an eye on him. They've even talked to him a little bit, but also like, hey, we love you. We want you to come in. We want you to change and different, and God to do something in your life. And so having that awareness of openness and vigilance, I think, is huge for a church security team. So the second thing, and we've talked about it a little bit, is managing high risk individuals. And so as a security team, I just want to give you a situation I've experienced.
Okay.
And I didn't have a security team at the time. And so if you were leading my security team, how would you handle this situation? So I had a man come in, and he came right up to me after service, and we talked very briefly, and he said, "You talk about sin too much." I said, "Okay, what would you like to talk about, sir?" And then he went right to, "I just got out of prison for about 30 years, and it was a double homicide. It was me." And he was fairly aggressive. And then he was coming to church quite a bit. And of course, I invited him to coffee and got his phone number and reached out to him. But as a security team leader now, where I kind of pitch that situation to you for the next 3 Sundays as he's coming in, how would you manage that high risk individual?
Well, knowing the situation, he came in here. To me, he wants to be saved. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
there if he doesn't. If he wants to be participating. Now he might have some rough exterior.
Yeah.
Even come just retired out of the military and the Marines. I have a rough exterior just looking at me.
Sure.
Got
Yeah.
tattoos, got the beard, what all this. But it's like if you're in my inner circle, we're super tight. He just wants to be accepted to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So if I would immediately talk to you, hey,
Mhm.
that's one of the key things. As a team leader, I'm talking to the pastor. I'm talking to the elders, whoever's in charge. Like, hey, what's the goal of this? I can put him here. This is this level of security. Do I need to have someone near, behind, maybe looking, my positioning? But again, it's like if they're here for that reason, I want them to be here.
Absolutely.
That's the best place to be with me. So,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I'll say. So,
Yeah, I like it.
hey, I'm going to talk to you. Hey, what do you want to do? And I'm going to give you what I can facilitate, what level of threat this guy could be, because obviously he can go all the way,
Sure.
100. So, but where do you want to put him? Do we want to set him in a certain spot? Is he easier if you always have eye contact with him? Are they singing with you? Are they participating? Are they praying with you? Like, what's a good spot that you would want to be in? Because that's really what it is I'm facilitating as a security manager what the church wants, what the pastor wants.
That's awesome. At what point, if you had an individual like that, at what point would you kind of shift from openness to vigilance?
So I never shift off of vigilance. So I might appear
Okay.
that I'm not.
Yeah.
Be a little more happy. Maybe I'm going with the hymns and whatnot. But you, as a security, like you can have your faith. You could be believing at the moment.
Yeah.
But your job is security.
Okay.
Like you could be cordial to people. You're nice, and even if you're like gray manning, like you're in the pews or whatever, your still main job is to do that.
Okay.
So you're never not vigilant. I will say that.
Yeah.
So your guard is never down during that period, at all. Really, you're never shifting. Now you might outwardly appear like you're more nonchalant, but you're not.
Okay. So you can be open, have grace, love somebody, hope the best thing, like, hey, this dude's here for the right reasons. He came to church, but also believing all that, love hopes all things. You can still be vigilant and be aware that there's an enemy.
100%. And I wouldn't say enemy. I would say
he's not the enemy.
Yes,
the devil's the enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if he's like, to me, if he's talking about there's too much sin or something along those lines, he's struggling.
Absolutely.
He's struggling.
Yeah.
He's fighting it every day.
Yeah.
It's probably got a deep hold on him. And just knowing it's like, hey, I'm vigilant on that guy. Like, yeah, in my scan that I'm going to do, my short and long and like whatever the situation needs, they are always in it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how are they doing? Did this event that the pastor's talking about spark something with him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would be able to get to them first, or the security team would be able to react to something quicker. They're going to take a little bit more of my situation, my time, my space, my search pattern. They would be one of them.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that that's bad, But again, if you like those people are accumulating, we might have to, hey, can you reach out and do some extra stuff? Like, hey, can you give these guys some extra praying time, or can you start like a group for these specific people?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's like they're included in their own group. And unlike mine, like we're all in the military, or we're in the military, we kind of speak the same language. We
Yeah.
kind of walk the same way.
Yeah.
Some of those habits are good, and some of those habits are bad. But somebody like you can bring them back in.
Yeah.
Like that is the job. Like, hey, you're still one of us, brother. You're still a child of God.
Yeah,
And all that.
absolutely.
Like you speak that language to them, that's where they want to go.
That's awesome. I like how you're bringing both of those things. Grace and vigilance is good. Number 3, the third thing is we have navigating conflict in diverse and social and political issues. So the political things I'll put to the side just because we don't really have like fistfights over political things at church. But we do have a lot of confrontation because of social things. So like especially families going through divorce. And so you're my security guy. You're the team leader, and I got a situation. I would actually be upstairs preaching at the time, but one of the pastors comes or an elder or whatever, and they say, "Hey," or kids check-in person comes to you and says, "Hey, Dad is trying to pull the kids out. They're going through a divorce. Mom has custody. You're the security guy. That situation just happened. How do you navigate that?"
Yeah. So again, it's on, if they have custody and it's on your place, we're going to have an SOP, whatever it is. Like I need to, I don't need to know invasive information, but I need to know any threat level that's happening. So like this would be something that you as a pastor or whoever's given this to tell the security team leader, and then to give that information to everybody. Hey, this is happening. This might happen. Because again, like I want to know about the threat levels of all types. Hey, this could happen. That's a very likely scenario. Most of the time, when they're trying to get someone that doesn't have custody trying to get their children, it is something like that. Family events, church, big social events like that. So that definitely could be a threat. Recognizing it, that's huge. Recognizing it, have communication back and forth. Okay. And then what are we going to do? Do we stop that? Like I'm going to kind of flip it back to you. Like, what would you want me to do? What would you say that needs to happen in that situation?
Stop it.
Stop it. So I'm not going to let a kid get kidnapped.
Absolutely.
If that's my job, it's on private property, whatever I had to do. Like, hey, sir, this needs to be handled. And I would limit my information, the information I would need. It's like, hey, if you cannot have this child, it's not time. I'm not letting you take this child.
Yes.
Depends on what they do on that situation. Like I would you'd have to physically put yourself in there, call the police, like, hey, this person needs to be escorted out, whatever you need to do. It might come to a physical altercation, unfortunately, because those are the type of things where people are like, that's my kid and all this. And I completely understand that too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
I've been there.
We can't go above what we need to as security.
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
And I like, so we have a course later on, and it's just like an escalation of force, and we're using the Homeland Defense curriculum for churches specifically. And so we'll go through some of that in that course. But we do have situations, it's fairly common, I would say a couple times a year, we'll have a woman come in who's very distraught, and there's like a guy following her, and they find out she's at a certain church. And then, so I've always let a few men at the church like, hey, be aware of this, kind of keep your eyes on her and make sure she doesn't look scared and things like that. So we do have a lot of these different family dynamics happening at a church. And I think a security team really can assist in that. But like you said, there needs to be great communication between your staff at your church and your.
Yeah, because you could be simple as, hey, we escort you to the vehicle afterwards. Or, hey, you're coming in. You might send a text, or you're at a normal scheduled time. We show up at the parking lot to escort you in and to escort you to your vehicle. And so you can leave at that point too. Like some of that stuff could be part of the SOP.
Yeah. And so developing that, would you develop that with your security team leader and like your elders and your pastor on some of those issues, and then bring it to your security team and further develop that SOP?
If you could give, if you could do it with your pastor and the team leader and the elders, like everyone could be in the loop, that would be for everyone's best benefit. Because More focused on security. My mind is here. Security. I'm in the security block.
Yeah.
You have a whole different range of things that I don't know about. So sometimes it's good just to hear like, oh, that perspective in this situation, like that makes way more sense.
Okay.
Because my mind is always security, the next step, the next threat. Oh, scan, the next threat, the next step. You have a whole different broad spectrum that you have to engage with just to get any input might help my process.
Yeah.
And probably the vice versa as well. Probably more on your end. You probably help me more than I would help you. But it's definitely good to get it, the whole spectrum. So if you could bring that team leader in there with that conversation, and you should have an SOP for this. It's a very common thing to happen. Medical emergencies, children being picked up by a person that doesn't say they're on there. They could be a predator, or they could be a family member, or whatever it is, and they just miscommunicated something. But if it's not, the worst case scenario is they are trying to take that kid, or it needs to be an SOP.
Absolutely.
Baseline.
Yep. Okay. So the fourth thing is protecting the vulnerable population within the church. And I love that you've already said it. Like, kids are the number one priority. And like at my house, I don't apologize for that. Nobody's alone with my kids. My kids don't even do sleepovers because I went through some rough stuff as a kid too. So it's like we protect them and we're pretty unapologetic about it. When I got to the church, we initially put up security cameras and then the monitor for the security camera right at the kid check-in, just to help with, people seeing that and like, hey, if I was going to try something, not at this church. And so what are your thoughts about the emphasis on the vulnerable population?
Yeah, so deterrence is one of the strongest things with that. If the window is down, you're more likely somebody to steal something from your car. If the door is unlocked, it's more likely so just give the opportunity. Don't give them that opportunity. They see a strong front, that person trying to get something, they're probably trying the lowest common denominator, the least amount of effort. As they see, that's where the security team is. That's the central spot. They have checkouts, they have cameras, they're monitoring. That could be the meat. Well, that's off the table.
Absolutely.
And obviously a guard there, security there is going to be another level, but like just the gate to entry is so high already, they're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
So something like that is definitely huge.
That was my wife and I went to a church, and it was in Tennessee, and we went to drop the kids off, and they actually had a off-duty cop and he was armed security, and I thought it would be like a put off to people, and I thought my wife would think it was strange, but it was her favorite church because they love the kids that much. And then when I went into the church, like it smelled like weed, and it was so I would have thought it would have stopped people from coming because there was a armed off-duty police officer, but actually, just thinking about it was like, I think there's more people, because if I'm living a rough life and I got a lot going on, dude, I just want my kids safe, and I want a safe place to put my kids and like come to worship and like unload the things that are going on in my life and just have love and Christ and stuff. So actually having that presence of security, the church had more like people breaking the law. It was I never seen anything like it. So I think for pastors, when they say, hey, we don't want cameras up and we don't want to show people we don't trust them or whatever, I think you kind of have to get over that, because everybody wants their kids safe. Everybody wants those who are vulnerable safe. And it's not about trust. It's about keeping the most precious things on this planet, even to Jesus. What he said about kids, that they're the most precious, that he loves them, that no one can hurt them. And so we're like, I think we have the priority of the Father's heart when we do that as well. And like to let pastors know that that's okay. It's okay to show deterrence or cause deterrence, like you were talking about with kids.
Yeah, having that off-duty police officer there, or just even a patrol car there, can deter a lot of things. And we might be like, yes, we want to protect the kids, we want to protect the women, but also like we need to be protected too.
Yeah.
At all time, we need someone to have our back. And God's got us, but I don't want to need him tomorrow. So let's have a plan to protect ourselves today.
Yeah.
And like we might take it as like an ego hit. But we need to drop that. It's like this
Yeah.
security is for everybody. This could help me too. So like if someone's behind me and the ATL, the assistant team leader, sees it on the camera, is like, hey, there's someone approaching you from your six, you're behind you. You need to turn around and look. Like that could give me a quick reaction so I
Yeah.
can now engage a threat faster or handle the situation faster. Or brings everyone else up if there is one of these uh like possible what we were talking about in the last section, like one of these things outside, like, oh crap, this raises everyone's level. I need to know that too. That's also protecting me.
Yeah.
Use all their tools. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you use all your tools if you were a mechanic? You would.
Absolutely.
If you were a craftsman, you would. If you were security, you absolutely would. And it's fine that they don't think like that because they're there kind of more of a relaxed. Their situation where this is down.
Yes.
And it's sad that it has to be like that, but we should have security there. And our job is to keep vigilant. We're going to use everything we can.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. And we have courses we're developing that help, you as pastors or elders that are watching it or on your church staff. There's up to $200,000 in grants, and it goes towards the training, church security training, but also like to harden your facility, which means security cameras and the right kind of locks and things like that. And so actually the government is seeing that this is an issue and giving people taxpayer dollars to help correct this problem. So that's something we want to help people with.
For these steps, some of the things we're talking about is education your team on trauma information, are offering discreet support for food pantries and stuff like that, like especially with the government shutdown. Like,
Yeah.
I'm affected right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like that is something that you would need to also possibly secure. Like those people coming in, we want to help them, but that could be secured.
Absolutely. We can let them know. Oh, it's talking about securing like food pantries and stuff.
Yes, this is
I want
offer
people to steal
discreet
that stuff.
support. Well, at that point, it's not stealing.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like,
food.
I have it to give to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
but yeah,
We had a church where our TVs got stolen and like a bunch of stuff, and
yeah,
it was super cool because nobody was mad, and it was like, hey, if like you need the money, just come ask, and we'll give it to you.
There's
That's what we do. That's
this
who we are.
lane is for you. You don't need to jump in and jump out. This lane is for you. These food pantries are for you. Yeah, that makes more sense. Even like again, that's my security mindset. Like people stealing this food, they might be out of hours or whatever. So maybe like have it like, hey, the day of the worship we have, and then after, it's hours of food pantry or whatever it is.
Yeah,
because that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, the day of worship is the people, and those are our biggest assets. And you can't. It's like if someone robbed my house when I wasn't home, I wouldn't care. But if they rob my house when my kids are there, they're going to get shot, and I'm not going to ask a question.
Yes,
That's
Absolutely.
all there is to it. So, okay, number 5 is preparing for targeted threats, hate crimes, and protest. It kind of sucks in general that this is on there, but this is the world we live in. And I know that there are heightened times. I've had, a call before. It was like a revival night, and they said, hey, there's going to be a protest outside of your building. And I didn't have a church security team, so I just made coffee for the protesters and then, was talking to them. I would have loved to have in that situation a security team and make coffee for them. So what would you do with your team when you know that there's a heightened, threat or protest or something like that in the city that would be geared towards churches for whatever reason?
Yeah. So later on in the course, you're going to also learn about this too, but you want to get in touch with that, the authorities there, the church, the police officers, whoever's there, the sheriffs, whoever's controlling this area. And you should know, like, hey, is this going to happen? It's going to raise everyone's threat. What I want everyone to think about too is you need to humanize everybody because it's especially in the military and the Marines. If you dehumanize something like these are not people, it's easier for them to do the hate crime. It's easier for them to other you. Like, hey, we're all children of God, especially in this instance. With that, hey, I'm going to make them coffee. Hey, I'm Ron. Nice to meet you. I'm from Kingdom Defense Security. I'm offering you some coffee. Hey, you're allowed to protest. We got it. And if we could, please keep it down. They're trying to have a service in there. And that immediately de-escalates it to a certain degree. People with bad things will do bad things. Don't get me wrong. But even just me in there, and now I've seen that person. Now I might just be doing that, but I'm also sizing you up. I'm looking for bulges. I'm seeing what kind of foot where you're wearing. I'm seeing who's around you. When I talk to you, who acts too. So I'm also like gauging or testing the waters. I'm seeing what's around you. I'm gathering all that information. And as part of the security team, that's the bad situation if you don't have any security team. Hopefully nothing happened, but like that needs to be known. Hey, I'm in the front. This is where the protesters are. Keep an eye on. Okay, maybe you divert or you can divert one of your security people just to watch the protest.
Yeah.
Just to stand on the door. Because again, the gate to entry, like you're allowed to come in here, but you're less likely to do something if one of the security team is outside.
Absolutely.
Or one of the security team is roving. And that could be a normal thing that happens per your SOP every day. Hey, I do but I might need two. Or I might need, hey, I rove, and then I relieve a guy and he roves the other way. Because the main entrance might not be it. There might be a roof or a basement or another door that's not, or in the parking lot, something that's not normally viewed. But hey, I'm gonna amp it up my level. I might now add roving. That might be something we do.
Okay. Yeah, I like that you're balancing grace and understanding with like really being vigilant and security tactics. I like that humanizing somebody. In those situations, I think we often get too like upfront. I remember, maybe you could speak to this, but just sitting on the hood of a Humvee with a guy named Staff Sergeant Dalverney. This is like third deployment. I'm halfway through my first, and he knew I was a Christian. And we started talking about things, and he's like, "Hey, dude, like, do you ever think like if we were born here, we'd be killing us and stuff too?" And he had done. I mean, he's 101st infantry guy, and he's probably dealing with all kinds of stuff I don't know anything about. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question." But he was like humanizing them, and trying to understand them, but also being vigilant because we're sitting in a fob, about to go somewhere. So it's like, I don't know. We often put people like, okay, these guys want to protest. That means they want to hurt us. But maybe they just have a problem with a specific thing that we might be doing wrong. And then that understanding softens the situation. Did you experience any of that downrange?
A little bit. Maybe not those exact same words, but definitely going through, listen to the call of prayer would be a huge one. We'd be on patrol, we hear the call of prayer, like, oh crap.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is church bells to them.
Hmm.
Something like that. Like, this is church bells. And coming from like a different culture doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
Like if you see, like when I was in Thailand, every time they pass a Buddha statue, they stop and they give a little prayer and they salute. They do the little bow. And I'm like, that's normal for them. That's church bells. That's the call of prayer.
Yeah.
I can recognize that for what it is. Like, I don't need to demean them or be different. That's it. And a lot of the stuff with the protests, it's a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a difference of opinion. It could be the heartbeat. It could be all that other stuff that we're trying to get done. Like, if you don't agree, you cannot agree. That's
Absolutely.
fine.
Yeah.
I want to change you. I want to show you the light and bring you to our side. But I'm not going to stop you from having me preach my word or that being done. And especially in the security team, I'm not physically going to go after you. I might heighten my a level of awareness, but at no point does that change my, like, I'm less likely to do something if you're a human to me. Because you're not the enemy. You're not an opponent. You're just disagreement. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are people. And the enemy is evil. The enemy is the devil. People are confused and going in one thought pattern or another thought pattern. And I think that really helps the security team a lot too, where they're not going to make a stupid decision because they're dehumanizing somebody. And so they're seeing people as people, reaching out, being open, and also vigilant. And I think that is kind of the summary of this course here is like, you want to have grace and you can be vigilant at the same time. So that's cool. I've kind of learned that through this podcast.
Yeah. And I actually do have an instance. So when I was in Japan, we, on Okinawa, our bases, that we had protesters that would protest just being on Japan.
Really?
Now, a lot of them were, from what I can only say so much, but a lot of them were like Chinese influenced.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll say.
So it's a political.
So a lot of it was political.
Yeah.
But every day I have to go to this base. I have to go from base to base because they're all not connected on the island of Okinawa. And every time I'm going in, there's a huge protest. Huge protest. So it's like I'm just waving and they're yelling and they speak good English. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'd be speaking in Japanese and Chinese. And they have their signs every day, and they had the police there very cordial. Hey, you can't move, you got to move, and all this other stuff. But even like in the back of our base, Camp Schwab, we do our water. Like we do our water and aquatics and all our training. So we'd be out there in boats. They have a whole little squad of those people in kayaks come up in, and they're like, we had to do it. It was part of our brief every time. Like our range safety officer, he would give our brief like, hey, we know there's going to be protesters. Yeah. They're humans. Don't do anything crazy. We are guests in this place.
Yeah.
We are guests from this country. We have no right to harm these people. That's not what we're here for. Yeah. Our job is to protect these people.
Absolutely, yeah.
They don't have to agree. Your job is to protect Japan as service members there. You protect our interests. We are like, they're our greatest ally over there.
Yeah.
On the Pacific side, they're our greatest ally. We are there to help them. They help us. We should give back to like, hey, they're allowed to do this. I'm not going to stop them. I'm going to train. If I have to train somewhere else, okay. Like I have a motor on my boat. I can just drive a little bit deeper. Most of the time we're doing stuff underwater anyway, so we're deep in the water. But like we're not there to hurt those people. They've signed the permits and they're being peaceful. Then I'm more peaceful. I can be way more peaceful than you at that point.
That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome that it's like they can be protesting and you're like, nah, I love them at the same time. They can hate me, but I'm going to protect them. That's all right. That's the right attitude. That's good.